Janaba Beniram Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki Jai Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki Jai. This is the both garlands from Gauranga Nityananda together. This was great mercy. So we're reading today from the Canto 6. Text 38. 38, yes. Oh, it says 39. I have actually my computer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Prayesha Baddeshu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. So before we reach Srimad Bhagavatam, we're reading from Transcendental Diary of Harisori Prabhu. We are now in Sridhar Mayapur, 20th of February 1976. Early in the morning, Prabhupada called for Achyutananda and Hridayananda. Das ist 20. Februar 1976. Und das, ja. Early in the morning. Prabhupada called for Achyutananda. Das sind ein paar Seiten später, 2 oder 3 danach. Early in the morning, Prabhupada called for Achyutananda and Hridayananda. Early in the morning, Prabhupada called for Achyutananda and Hridayananda Swamis, and he requested them to go to the Goswami Mat to speak on his behalf. He told them to invite their devotees to come with us and preach from village to village. Since we have the finances and they know the language, it could be a very successful combination. Such a united preaching effort would benefit everyone, ISKCON, the Gaudiya Math, and the general public. He said, tell them, if there is a problem with the management of their temple, we shall provide all the finance necessary. They have only to come preach with us. Prabhupada, I must say, Prabhupada was a very generous person. Prabhupada never was thinking, this Gaudiya Math, we will not give them anything. Prabhupada invited them, yes, if you want to cooperate, let's go, let's do it together. Prabhupada was so generous that, I don't know exactly a year, he offered Srila Sridhar Swami, his lustrous godbrother, one of the most advanced devotees in Gaudiya Math, to take over Mayapur project and to be guru there in Mayapur. Imagine. Prabhupada was not at all thinking, I want to be guru for myself, He just said, let's preaching be done. This is a very nice attitude that we can emulate. The Prabhupada wanted preaching to be done, and this way or that way, somehow preaching had to be done. And even to cooperate with Gaudiya Math, no problem. If they want to preach, you benefit, we benefit, we all benefit. So this is a nice, I must say, wonderful quality of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was generous and not small-minded and small-hearted at all. Of course, he was very strict with mixing the philosophies. This is also a different thing, but he was very generous in that sense. He observed that none of them are preaching. Rather, they are simply begging for money to support their temples. They have no preaching potency and their forces are dwindling, so why should they not join us? I was once as one devotee, we were in Radhakund, and there's a house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Radhakund, where Bhaktivinoda Thakur built a house, and this is the original bed of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, where he was sleeping. They even had Western toilets, with not squatting but sitting. This is like at that time considered like wow, super high tech. There's a Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's cane and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's shoes, wooden shoes. And when you would go, the person who takes care of it, he would hit you in the head with a stick and put the shoes of Bhaktisiddhanta on your head. And why did I say this? I have no idea. Yeah. Because when we went there, not this time was somehow nobody was there. But some maybe 7-8 years ago, I went there and the person who was in charge, was one older devotee, he was pushing so much to give donation. If you give donation. You're like, oh my God, because you have this reflex when you see panda want to money from you, immediately your defense mechanism, all the arms go up. And then we were thinking, but then I was thinking, wow, this devotee told me, amazing, such a Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's mission was such a powerful mission to conquer the entire world with Krishna consciousness. And look at what went down to that somebody begs you for 100 rupees. This is a very opposite of what the Bhaktisiddhanta envisioned to his mission. And this is what Prabhupada says here. They're simply begging for money to support their temples. They have no preaching potency and their forces are dwindling. So why should they join us? So meaning to preach, Prabhupada says many times we have to have potency to preach. We cannot preach unless we are empowered with this Krishna Shakti, as we call it. Infused with Krishna Shakti, the power of Krishna, we cannot preach. We cannot preach. And you see one who is empowered to preach, somehow all the doors are open, everything is opening, all. You know, Prabhupada's, of course, doors in the beginning were all locked deeply with the big chains, metal doors. He could not open any doors, but once the one door opened, the whole world opened for Prabhupada. So whole world, Africa, amazing, Africa. We have temples in Africa. I mean, when you think about this, Africa, Hare Krishna temple. You know, I was just watching this because I was talking to Harinamananda something about South Africa. And I watched yesterday's video, Soweto. Soweto is like a slum area, poor black people area. Ratha Yatra, dancing, Hare Krishna, like amazing, Africa, Prabhupada's potency. So Prabhupada was so infused with his potency that his movement spread not even in India, in America, but all over the world. And even now, when he's not there physically, the movement is expanding. This is called potency, Krishna's potency. On his walk, he discussed the idea further, stressing that money is no problem. They simply have to come and preach with us. Hridayananda Maharaj mentioned that before Prabhupada went to the West, Indians were not interested in his message. But now that he has money, they are willing to listen. This is Indian stuff. Prabhupada agreed. Money is the strength all over the world. America is prestigious. Why? They have got money. So I've got American disciples. Why shall I not have money? If a guru of the Americans remain poor, it is contradictory. Prabhupada. Sometimes Prabhupada would do this not so humble statements, you can say. But this is just because Prabhupada was very proud of his disciples, my American disciples. If I'm this guru of the rich Americans, how can I be poor? This is not possible. I have even heard unofficially from one devotee when Prabhupada came here that some kind of a green card when he got in America, he got a permanent residence, that he came to India and in the airport all these Indians came to greet him and he showed the green card. There he goes. Green card. Because this is also preaching. Look at me. You know, look at what have I done. All these Americans. But Prabhupada first time, 1967, invited Kirtanananda Das at that time to Vrindavan. This is the very first Western disciple to come to India with Prabhupada. There was just him and Prabhupada. And there was a thing, even summertime, it was very hot. And Prabhupada was described in Lamrita Bhakti Satsvarup Maharaj. Prabhupada wanted Kirtanananda to wear a suit and a tie, because he wanted to show, I'm not bringing anybody, I'm bringing the respected gentleman from America who became a devotee. So there was this memory of Prabhupada, Kirtananda speaks, and he said this was this flannel suit, because of cheap, devotees didn't have money. A flannel is like a plastic, So when you were heat, you wear this flannel suit. He said it was so hot, he was sweating, but Prabhupada wanted suit, so he was wearing a suit. Because Prabhupada wanted to show to his godbrothers, look, I brought a respected gentleman from America. And then Prabhupada gave him sannyas. It was the very first sannyasi ever in ISKCON, 1967. But think about it, Prabhupada came only 2 years ago, a year and a half in America. And first year he was just wandering around the streets. And after, 1 year after, he immediately gave one sannyas. That is potency. We preach here, we bring devotees, we bring bhaktas to the temple, they come to the temple, and next year we cannot give them sannyas. They're not somehow ready. Even if you give them initiation, they somehow leave. So it's different potencies. Prabhupada had the potency to do this. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any comments, Prabhu? Would you like to say something? Yeah. Okay. Other questions or something?
I have a question.
Yes, Malalmita Mataji.
Very much. So you were speaking about money. So
Yes.
actually, the Prabhupada says that these Americans, so we are.
Sorry?
Prabhupada Prabhupada says that the Americans, the American money and Indian culture. So
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, but India, in Indian also are many rich people, really very, very rich people. So, why Srila Prabhupada wanted to rely upon mostly only upon Americans?
Because at that time there was not as many rich people as now. You know, at that time actually, if you look at I looked at statistics. In India there was only 600 million people. Only. And nowadays we are 1.2 billion. So doubled within 50 years. Double the amount of Indians. And all, you know, the devotees who went in the 90s, I don't know, when did you go first time to India? You know, I went to 91, you know, 92. There was nothing. There was, in Vrindavan, there was no even, you'd have to take the horse. There was this tanga, horse, and a platform, and they carry you. There was no rickshaws, there was no motorcycles, you know, some ambassador car here and there, but there was nothing. India was really poor. And what to speak in the 70s, you know, or 60s, you know. So nowadays now I think we should do the other way around. The Indians should give us money. I mean, why not? You know, we gave so much money. I counted once when I was in America, within 5 years period, how much money we sent to Mayapur. Wow, I was, man, they should give us money back, you know. I mean, they have so much money. They should give us some money now. It's the time. Maybe I will see. I mean, I don't have an influence, but maybe I will try to talk to somebody, you know. I mean, they should something help. The poor temples in poor Germany. So, is that satisfactory, Mataji, to you?
Yes, small question.
Yes.
One more. So, but as far as I'm concerned, so mostly the Indian people, they are helping in India. The temples are opulent, the temples are very, how to say, they need very much money and they are sponsoring.
Yes.
But not Europe or, you know.
Doch, in Europe also, I mean, England is 99% maintained by Indians. I think it's a matter of, you know, preacher has to go around with a begging bowl and try to get some money, I think. This is number one. Number two, Indian temples are very much on it as far as the maintaining the donors. As far as I've seen in Europe, in Germany also, nobody really makes special programs for Indians, Indian, you know, there's no such a thing, isn't it? Sudama does a little bit something, but there's not really. For this, you have to, you know, to somebody to give you money. I once, you know, Sridhar Swami, he's departed some years ago, very beloved, Jolly Swami, yeah. They gave one seminar in the 90s, and this seminar was collecting, grassroots collecting. So he said, people will not give you just money, you just go and say, give me money for the project. It has to be some banda, you know. First some banda, some connection. How are you? How are your family? How are your kids? Look at your girl, is so intelligent. And then once you develop some friendship, you know, even then you don't ask for money, he said. You ask for an opinion. I tried this time I was in India and I got some donations, you know, must say. I asked, and Maharaj said, you don't say, oh, I have this project, can you give money? He said, you ask for an opinion. You see, I have this project and I need this and this much money. Can you give me advice? How can I collect? How can I find this money? And he said that people will say, oh, you can do this one. I can also give you something. So I already got this year. Last year I was in India. I asked for a project which I don't have. I said I would like to have this project in Germany. Can you? I need your opinion. How can I bring this to fruition? And he said, oh, you can do this and this and that. He said, I can give you some money now, And he said, when you start the project, let me know and I will organize some more. So I said, wow, so it's like this also. You have to run around. I think this is good enough because devotees are...
It's related to this topic, but it's okay.
Devotees,
It's okay, thank you.
So let's read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Shri Badarayana Iruvacha. Shri Badarayana Iruvacha. Tebhya evam pratishrutya. Tebhya evam pratishrutya. Vishvarupo mahatapaha. Vishvarupo mahatapaha. Paurahityam vritas chakre. Paurahityam vritas chakre. Paramena samadhina. Paramena samadhina. Shri Badarayana Iruvacha. Tebhya evam pratishrutya. Vishvarupo mahatapaha. Paurahityam vritas chakre. Paramena samadhina. Please.
Shri Badarayani Ruvacha.
Shri Badarayani Ruvacha.
Tebhya evam pratishrutya.
Tebhya evam pratishrutya.
Vishvarupa mahatapaha.
Vishvarupa mahatapaha.
Paurahityam vritas chakre.
Paurahityam vritas chakre.
Paramena samadhina.
Paramena samadhina. Shri Badarayani Uvacha.
Shri Badarayani Ruvacha.
Tebhya evam pratishrutya.
Tebhya evam pratishrutya.
Vishvarupo mahatapaha.
Vishvarupa mahatapaha.
Paurahityam vritas chakre.
Paurahityam vritas chakre.
Paramena samadhina.
Paramena samadhina.
Lilamrita. Читайте Lilamrita. Shri Badarayana Iruvacha. Tebhya evam pratishrutya.
Vishvarupo mahatapaha.
Vishvarupa mahatapaha.
Paurahityam vritas chakre.
Paurahityam vritas chakre.
Paramena samadhina.
Paramena samadhina.
Shri Badarayana Iruvacha.
Shri Badarayani Uvacha.
Shri Shukadev Goswami said,
Shri Sukadeva Goswami said,
Tebhya, unto them, the demigods, evam, thus, pratishrutya, promising, Vishvarupaha, Vishvarupa, Mahatapaha, the most exalted personality, Paurahityam, the priesthood, Vritaha, surrounded by them, Chakre, executed, Paramena, supreme, Samadhina, with attention. Translation. Sri Shukadev Goswami continued, O king, after making this promise to the demigods, the exalted Vishvarupa, surrounded by the demigods, performed the necessary priestly activities with great enthusiasm and attention. Purport. The word samadhina is very important. Samadhi means complete absorption with an undiverted mind. Vishvarupa, who was a most learned Brahmana, not only accepted the request of the demigods, but took their request seriously and performed the activities of priesthood with an undiverted mind. In other words, he accepted the priesthood not for material gain, but to profit the demigods. Such is the duty of a priest. The word puraha means family and hita means benefit. Thus the word purohita indicates that the priest is the well-wisher of the family. Another meaning of the word puraha is first. A priest's first duty is to see that his disciples benefit spiritually and materially by all means. Then he is satisfied. A priest should never be interested in performing Vedic rituals for his personal benefit. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. Hare Krishna. I thought this verse is very much corresponding to the events we experienced in the past couple of days. And this is a departure of a great devotee of Krishna, great disciple of Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Because I was very much somehow, I don't know, I had some personal relationship, not much, but in the 90s. And that left a very big impression on me when I was a very young devotee. His dedication and his complete samadhinam, as they say here, samadhi. Because what is the samadhi? I visited once in Pune. That was many years ago. Also, the Osho Rajneesh temple in Pune. They have their own headquarters there, and then they spoke about his greatness, whatever. And then he said somehow some of his disciples, he was sitting in samadhi, and after some days, his body began to emanate some odors because he actually died. But because he was so absorbed in samadhi, devotees did not notice that this is samadhi or is he dead. So this is what usually when people think what samadhi is. Samadhi is absorption, you don't speak to anybody, you don't see anything. Like for example, we have in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the yogi who was meditating, the snake, first canto. He put a snake around his neck, Parikshit Maharaj. Shamika Rishi. He was sitting in total, this is a samadhi. He was not there. Although he was sitting there, he was not there. So this is what people think about what samadhi is. But here we see the samadhi is complete absorption with an undiverted mind. So the point of samadhi is not to divert the mind. The mind which should be, as Srimad Bhagavad Gita in 241 says, Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana, the one diverted concentration into one point. So this is samadhi. Nothing else, and constant. 24 hours a day, 365 days. This is constantly you think about this. So I was thinking actually what Gopal Krishna Maharaj has done. This is actual samadhi. Samadhi is, as the second part of this purport, he said purohita. Purohita means is the benefit for the family. The priest. There's a name in India, purohit, isn't it? Purohit. That's it?
Yeah, exactly.
Purohit, yeah. So there's one who is the benefactor of the family. Is a benefiting the family. So benefiting the family of Krishna. In India, when you do yagya, sacrifice, you have to say your name, you have to say the purpose of your yagya or homa, and you have to say your gotra. So Indians, they have different gotras, but we don't have a gotra from the West. What is our gotra? What is my gotra? From Eastern, what is my gotra? So Prabhupada says, our gotra, ISKCON devotees' gotra is Achyuta gotra. We are the family of Krishna. So I did one in, what is the name? In Vrindavan, the Rudra, the Shiva, taking Gopeshwara Mahadev. I had to do something. And he asked me, what's my gotra? I immediately write, Achyuta. Oh, Achyuta. No problem. Achyuta gotra. This is our family, Achyuta. We are the family of Krishna. And as family of Krishna, we have our, Prabhupada call it family business. Each family has their own business. This is a tradition. You see, again, in India, in this shop stall, the young boy, 6 years old, he's frying these things and he's selling, very expert. This is a family business. The father gets old, he sits there somewhere, and the child continues family business. So our family business of our Achyuta Gotra is to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Preaching, prachar, sarvatra prachara, habemoranam. My name will be chanted all over the world, every town and village, everywhere. So this is the mission, this is the family business of Krishna. So Maharaj embodies this. I thought this is a very perfect explanation here. A priest's duty is to see that his disciples benefit spiritually and materially by all means, also materially. Then he is satisfied. This is an interesting point. The Prabhupada also, we see the Prabhupada actually was interested not only to spread Krishna consciousness, give the holy name, and then, do whatever you want. No, he wanted to make sure that there's a material facilities for his devotees to be properly, situated in Krishna consciousness. And therefore, he built so many temples. He bought the buildings. Amazing. Prabhupada actually, from the very beginning, he bought buildings. This is the after this, lately, even here in Germany, last temple was bought here is this one, I think, 81 or something like this. People don't buy anymore. Of course, it's expensive, but still, people don't buy. Prabhupada knew the business. You have to own the building and give the facility for devotees to actually sleep. This is such a basic thing, We speak of very highly philosophy, but we actually have it. We should never forget that there's a basic facilities of eating, sleeping. Remember once there was a seminar, one devotee gave a seminar on Vanaprastha, and Bhakti Vibhava Swami asked him. So okay, he was speaking very eloquently from the Shastra. And Bhakti Vibhava Maharaj asked him, so okay, let's say practically, when the Vanaprasthas go on the street, where should they sleep in the evening? Under the bridge? Where? These basic things are very also important. These basic things are not different from actually, chanting the holy name after all. As I said here, a priest's duty is to see that his disciples benefit spiritually and materially by all means. So therefore Prabhupada built the temples, Prabhupada had a Gurukula, Prabhupada does all this BBT also, all these engagements, all this stuff for this very reason, to give people shelter. So this is all shelter of Krishna. Not only the holy name, everything else is also shelter. Association of devotees is shelter. Going to Mayapur Dham is shelter. Going to Vrindavan Dham is shelter. You go to Vrindavan, actually Prabhupada, before he wanted to build a temple, he wanted to build a guest house. Because he thought guest house is more important than the temple. Because if his Western disciples can come, stay in the guest house, and then they can actually practice Krishna consciousness while having nice facilities. So I thought this, and then I remember one story. There was one devotee actually reminded me of this story. It's called, this is a story by what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used in his preaching strategy. Like Prabhupada has so many analogies, so many funny analogies Prabhupada uses, or stories, with whatever, the different stories of Chanakya Pandit. And Bhaktisiddhanta, this is all, Bhaktisiddhanta started with this. He started this using stories to illustrate some philosophical point. Because ultimately Srimad Bhagavatam is also using stories to illustrate philosophical point. In reality, we do not need stories. Stories is meant for the less intelligent. Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras. For the Brahmanas, they don't need stories. Brahmanas are studying Upanishads, studying Vedanta Sutra. They don't need stories. Studying the real philosophy. But majority of people cannot understand the philosophy. So therefore they need stories. And therefore we need, I was just in Bulgaria a few weeks ago, and I gave so many stories of Ramayana, and everybody liked the stories, and it's nice, but there's also purpose behind the stories. So you try to extract the stories from the purpose. The purpose from the stories. So this is one story by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati called "All Glories to Balam Rice and Cow Ghee." You know this story? Balam rice. You know Balam rice? Maybe this is in Bengal. Balam rice is like a very fancy rice. Maybe basmati rice, I don't know. Very fancy, expensive rice. And cow ghee. Cow ghee is in India very rare. It's considered very opulent. Consider at that time there was no biscuits or whatever, this, shop. There was just what you cook. And cow ghee and rice, this was considered the most, Bengal particularly. Of course, South India also. Rice is like a very good thing. So the story was that there was a landlord once who had he was kind of a little bit strict with his workers, but his workers always a little bit lazy, tried to cut the corners, and as soon as he would press them to do some more, they would leave. And he would again, new servant and then leave, new servant or worker, new worker leave, new worker leave. So he would confide in his friend, neighbor, what should I do? They all come and they stay for some time, and then I press them to do a little more service, they leave. He said, you should feed them every day balam rice, the fancy rice, and a cow ghee. He said, but this is very expensive. No. Listen to me. So he was feeding them every day balam rice and ghee, and cow ghee, and ghee, and ghee. And after some time, then he pressed them to do more service. And then the servant said, no, we are leaving. Oh, this is too much. We don't want to do it. So they left. And after some time, they came back. He said, can you please come back and be your servants again? And then he went back. He accepted them. Then he went back to his neighbor. And he said, they came back. He said, yes, because they went. He said, I know this is the psychology. They went somewhere else, but they could never get such opulence as balam rice and cow ghee. So they were always remembering this wonderful taste of ghee. So they're thinking, where's the ghee? This is by this master. We're going to him. So interesting enough, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati gives purport to this, which is very useful for us as the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. This anecdote, Bhaktisiddhanta said, gives us a moral about the influence of women, money, and reputation for which people are desirous. Meaning everybody in this world is desirous of this. Opposite sex, money, reputation. Janam, Sundarim, Dhanam, opulence. It is very difficult, Bhaktisiddhanta said, to find a person willing to offer causeless devotional service to Lord Hari in this world. Very difficult for somebody to just say, I give everything to God, Very difficult. Motivated with material sense gratification and mundane desires for a few days, some would like to pretend to offer service to Lord Krishna's family and then would go back again to material gain, position, reputation, to satisfy their sense gratification. So meaning, some people would stay for some... Some people would, for a few days, practice Krishna consciousness, or even a few years, and then they would leave, because the desire for sense gratification, for opulence, as they said here, reputation, wealth, this is very, very strong. Very, very strong. And we see in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, how many people have joined, how many people have left, this is amazing. The number is just amazing. Amazing, the number. If you would just count, make a list of each devotee who came from 1970, whatever, let's say 1977 after Prabhupada's left, until now, we'll be amazed how many people have left. Because it is not easy. 12.8 Bhagavad Gita, Mayeva manam adatsva, Mai buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayeva at urdvana samshaya. Just fix your mind upon me, Krishna says in the 12th chapter. The Supreme Personality of God, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always, without a doubt. So fix your mind on Krishna and engage all intelligence in Krishna all the time. then you will live with me. And this is very, very difficult. And therefore in Bhagavad Gita, next verses 9, 10, 11, 12, Krishna says, if you cannot do this, then you should do this. If you cannot do this, if you cannot do anything, then just give your something, fruit of your work. Because Krishna understands it is not possible. It's very rare to come to this platform, to think of Krishna always. And Prabhupada says, there's no doubt this is a position of a transcendental service. This is a transcendental stage when somebody is in this. So we come back to the Balam rice, Bhaktisiddhanta's purport. So he said, because this is not possible, therefore, with a view to attract such persons by all means, people who cannot think of Krishna constantly and have these material desires, and to enlighten them, a benevolent spiritual master arranged from balam, rice and ghee to feed them. So spiritual master, he knows that the disciples are not on this level, so he somehow make this, and this is how he will explain now what is balam, rice and ghee, to his disciples, so they can actually somehow get hooked to stay in Krishna consciousness. In other words, spiritual master makes every attempt to retain those persons, somehow, anyhow, to make them to stay within the family environment of Lord Krishna by way of, now this is what spiritual master gives, providing various sorts of positions and reputation for them. So in ISKCON we have so many positions, secretary or whatever, minister, temple commander, somebody. This is the most funny. Sometimes when I was a temple president, you're the temple commander, and they become very, become a little puffed up, then heavy on other people. I'm a temple commander now. So it's in reality, if you look philosophically, we all, this is all, bodies are made of atoms, Andantarasta paramanu chantarastam, and everything is made of atoms. Actually, we are not these atoms. These atoms are just clustered together, and our soul entered the body, so we somehow, and all this social construct is all illusion. All this, president or country, or we are following the green light, this is all actually illusion. But still, when we get the position, we say, yes, very soon I may become, who knows, regional secretary maybe. So this is amazing. But still, this is a trick of Prabhupada, and it works. So who cares? It works. Let's see. I said, in the beginning, so even these people, Bhaktisiddhanta said, even if they think, I want to leave out of sentiments, of the sentiments toward the lender or the spiritual master, and out of this, because they receive award, prestige, position, and honor, then they stay. So this is interesting. So we should not, in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we should understand this. That this is how it is. This is the world. The world is like this. We cannot expect, because this is the, pure movement. You can say this is the movement which preaches the highest spiritual, knowledge, that we all have to be perfect spiritually. We are just, all of us, at least most of us, are there because of the rice and ghee, in various forms. Everybody has their own rice and ghee, position or whatever we are, whatever we think we are, whatever we imagine ourselves to be. Because in reality, we are all Kirata. This is one of my favorite verses. This is actually a verse by Gopal, again, I have to mention Gopal Krishna Maharaj. I went very first time, I think it was 92, to Chandigarh temple, and Gopal Krishna Maharaj was there. And we traveled with Gopal Krishna Maharaj for some time in the 90s. And he instituted, every morning devotees sing this verse. After Govindamadi Purusham, they stand in front of the deities and they sing this verse. Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abira Shamba Yavana Kasadaya Yanye cha papa tadapashrayashra shudyanti tasmai Shri Prabhavishnave Namaha. And I remember this verse every morning we were singing it. This is a famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. He said that Kirata, Hunda, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Abhira, Shamba, Yavana, members of Kasa race, and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord due to his being the supreme power. I beg to offer my obeisance to him. So Prabhupada mentioned even Kirata, and then in purport Prabhupada mentioned the Kiratas. This is some province in Bharatvarsha. Hunas, this is us, at least. Hunas, part of Germany and Russia. East Germany and Russia. So we are the Hunas. The Hunas. Andhra Pradesh. Pulindas. Who are the Pulindas? The Greeks. The Greeks, with beards. Pulindas. Pulkashas, another province. Abhira, part of all this is also Zint. This is more like this area, Western India. Yavanas, this is also us. Yavanas, the Turks. And Kasadaya, we are not no Kasadaya here. Kasadaya is the Mongolians and Chinese. So all these people, these are considered the outcast. The Vedic society will not even, The Shudras, in Vedic society, Shudras are not allowed to read Shastras because they cannot understand the Shastra. Imagine these people, Pulindas, Pulkashas, I don't know, Nepalese, Nepalese is not even there.
Kiratas.
Are they Kiratas? Okay. You're the Kiratas, yeah. So, of course, Veni Madhava come from the most pious family. It's written in Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto. The members of the Dravida of the South India, they're the specially chosen by Lord Vishnu, specially born, most pious soul to be preaching Krishna consciousness. So, Veni Madhava stems from this wonderful area. And we here, Pulindas and Pulkashas and Yavanas. But even we, the Pulindas and Pulkashas, can be, what does it say? Can be purified. Even they can be purified by the grace of Krishna. Prabhavishnave Namaha. So we should understand that we are coming from these kind of backgrounds, that we have most of us, again, this is just a trick. Prabhupada tricked us to join this movement. In reality, Prabhupada just tricked us. The more I think about Krishna, I'm so many years and I'm thinking I'm senior. The more I think about it, I'm thinking it's just a trick. Prabhupada just tricked us all these years. Somehow or other, to convince us to stay. And we think, but in reality, it's just a pure, I'm sure Prabhupada is laughing, look at these guys. Like Prabhupada gives this example of, in the middle of the kirtan, I think it was London, I'm not sure exactly, I think London, they had this program in this big hall, and then Prabhupada started laughing. And the devotee said, why are you laughing, Prabhupada? Prabhupada said, I'm laughing, Narada Muni is here. He's laughing. He said, look at these mlechas and yavanas. they are chanting Hare Krishna. It's very funny. So this is who we are. This is who we are. So, I wanted to read the time. I don't want to drag too much, but I didn't even start. I wanted to read of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, his last will. You listen? I listened to the video. It's a wonderful video. Let's the Villa. So, this is the last will of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. It's very cool. I really like. I think this should be a book about this. He said, I'm in good health and this, that. Nobody convinced me. He said, I have always been loyal to the governing body commission of ISKCON and the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. So, of course, he was himself governing body commission, so it's easy to be loyal when you're sitting there. But he said he has always been loyal to ISKCON and he's always been loyal to Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON. I would like all my disciples to follow the GBC body. I have never taken one step out of ISKCON, and I desire that my disciples render service within ISKCON and not run here and there looking for some easy way out. Pretty cool. I must say this because nowadays, the freedom what we have now, we didn't have. Like, for example, 30 years ago, there was no freedom. If you write one book, one devotee wrote one book, I don't want to say the name of the book, and he was expelled from ISKCON because he wrote one book. And one book, And nowadays you can write all kinds of books, you can say all kinds of things, and it's all right, So we have a much more freedom, but we also have much more freedom, much more access to the material world than we had some many years ago. Many years ago, we were not allowed. I remember. I don't know. Prabhu, maybe you had it more. We were not allowed to read any books outside of Prabhupada's books, And then even that, you have to read first Bhagavad Gita, then Srimad Bhagavatam. There was, very strict mind control, you can say. We were not allowed to think outside. I was living in Vrindavan for many years. I was not allowed to visit main temples in Vrindavan by my spiritual master because this is a hajja. When I chanted one day 64 rounds, and he said, "What is this? Are you a hajja now?" Sorry. 16 Prabhupada wants 16 rounds of service, okay. So this was these were the days. But these days today, we can do anything, we have access to anything, internet, we read all kinds of things. And it's much easier to think like, I don't agree with this and I don't agree with that, or I can do my own thing and then do some mixture in between, listen lecture of this and that person on the internet, non-ISKCON. But I think it's very important to actually understand where are we coming from. We are coming from we are the family of Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We should stay in this family, in whatever way. We may not be mainstream, but we should stay within the family, with the circle of the family. We may be, for example, amarand, at the edge. We can be at the edge, but we should still be around there. We have some devotees, even one sannyasi who is at the edge. He's a little bit sometimes off, but he's there, And I thought this is actually a perfect example. Because if there is no loyalty, what is our character? If we are not loyal, what is our character? What is your character? If somebody saves you from the drowning river, drowning, and somebody saves you, and you say, this person is. You have to be loyal. You have to be respectful and loyal. There was one story also in the 70s. I think it was in Hari Sori Prabhu's books described. When this devotee he's a scholarly devotee, a Sanskrit scholar, and he said he started going to the Radhakund, to different places to hear lectures from the Babajis. And Prabhupada was very disturbed about this. And devotees were disturbed, and they asked Prabhupada, what should we do about it? The Prabhupada said, why are you going to listen lectures to these Babajis? And he said, because our lectures are very boring. In ISKCON devotees, they're not educated, they give this. Sometimes this kind of words, not the body, cats and dogs, and everything in the material world is bad, and we are good. And they think, oh my God, I want to hear something more. I want to hear some finesse in Krishna consciousness. So therefore I went to this other people to hear. And Prabhupada's answer was, you should not go to these places. If you don't agree, if you don't like these lectures, you should give lectures. So I thought also, this is also, if you don't like something, the way, whatever ISKCON operate, or you don't agree with, start your own ISKCON temple. It's open, there's so many cities, go rent something and see how great are you doing. Very easy. And also, Krishna consciousness needs to be expanded. So it's both benefits. So, loyalty. We should be loyal to Prabhupada forever. Then, Gopal Krishna Maharaj said, Srila Prabhupada said, your love for me will be shown how you cooperate. My desire for all my disciples is the same, to cooperate among themselves and with ISKCON authorities forever. So somehow cooperating, we see that Prabhupada was interested to cooperate even with Gaudiya Math. Although he many times he wrote, they are like, I don't want to use the words, Prabhupada used it, but you should avoid them, they are like this, they are that, But at the same time, if they would be willing to cooperate, Prabhupada is willing to cooperate. So we should try to be, you should not be, I don't want to say karmis, but we should not have this, separatistic, even if we don't agree, we should still cooperate. We have also in the history of our ISKCON, devotees who have not even left ISKCON, but they came back somehow cooperating. And now they're mainstream somehow or other. But it's possible to cooperate, You just have to see, you just have to be not envious and not greedy. That's all really. So cooperating. So then he said if he would pass his body, if he would leave his body outside of India, he wanted to be brought to Vrindavan or Mayapur. If he would be passing in North India, he would like to be Samadhi in Vrindavan, and this is what he was brought. Then he said, there's a plot of land in Vrindavan where my disciples wanted to construct a house for me. Disciples, as every disciple like to glorify their guru, and they want to make a house, whatever. So Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj did not want to have a house for himself, personal, which I applaud very much. It's wonderful. The sannyasi actually should not have a house, or should not have really his possessions. Because sannyasi's house is the whole world. This is what actually is supposed to be. But he said, I did not encourage this. My desire is that this particular land should be donated to ISKCON Bhavan for any purpose they may deem. There's some society, some ISKCON, something. So they should use this for these purposes, which is very nice. Gopal Krishna Maharaj, although he was actually huge devotee, with thousands and thousands of disciples, he did not want to have even one house on his name. I do not have any assets, cash, bank, deposit, lockbox, vehicles, stocks, or any property in my name. All the properties in the zones managed by me and ISKCON are registered legally in ISKCON's name. This is very nice. So, because what do you need in your name? You are sannyasi, especially if you're a big, guru, disciples, you can sleep anywhere you want, you can do anything you want. Why would you need something in your name? Because also, sannyasi is supposed to be civilly dead. That means that civilly you are not existing, you're dead. So how can you have something in your name? Why you should have something in your name? We know this famous story when the devotee brought to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was in Vrindavan sitting at the table, and the devotee brought him $300,000. At that time, huge donation. And they gave him a check. And Prabhupada just used the check, and he just gave it to him. He said, go and buy bricks and whatever they wanted to build. The guest house in Vrindavan. So just take it and give it back. Give it a vitalighting forward.
Sorry, I didn't understand. So, your Prabhupada, he got this check.
And he just gave it to another devotee, and he told him buy the bricks for the guest house. He did not use it for himself. He just vitalighted. He had vitalighted. I desire that my watch. He said the only possession he has in person is a watch, Rolex watch. Rolex watch is very expensive. But this watch was given to him by Prabhupada. So of course, it's his watch. Prabhupada gave him this watch. He said, I desire 1977 Prabhupada gave him. Oh no, he has a laptop and 2 mobile phones, also personal possessions. 2 mobile phones. I desire that this watch be handed over to my disciples who help me serve Srila Prabhupada. The laptop and mobiles with all the logins and passwords will be in custody of whoever will be my secretary at the time of my leaving body. I like this. It was very detailed. This is a good management. I give everything. There's no room for speculation. My clothes, my sweaters can be distributed to disciples and other devotees by the team of my assistants. I've not authored any books except some lecture transcript brought out by different disciples at different places. There is no copyright owned by me on this, meaning I don't make any money on these books. Now, what I have, my true assets are my deities. I don't know, anybody knows what deities Maharaj had? He had some deities. And these deities, he doesn't want to be worshipped by any person because he said, he knows if he gives to the person, it will not be worshipped properly. So he wanted to distribute it to various temples, so he knows the deities will be worshipped properly. That's funny. He said, I desire so because then the deities will be safe. In the case they are worshipped by individuals, they could be abandoned. His personal deities should be given to the temples to be worshipped. Because if you give to the devotees, they'll be eventually. Very practical. Anyway, so this is basically it. I have no personal loans. I don't owe any debts to anybody. I don't owe any. I do owe everything to my Guru Maharaj. If I were to pass away, I'll be really pleased and grateful for all my disciples to take shelter of one of the senior devotees without being independent and follow the managerial system set up and provided by GBC. So I thought about this, in the West, it's a little bit, you can say wild zone. In India is much more structured. We were much more structured before, but now we are not so structured. And many devotees have no really, you can say, guidance. We have in the name our Guru, which we see once every 3 years. But we don't have really a practical guidance. But you see, Maharaj wanted everybody to have a shelter of one of the senior devotees without being independent. Independence, it could be nice in one sense, but on the other hand, if you're not advanced enough, if you're not materially unmotivated, then you can make a mess. You can think this is you can mix your material desires with your so-called advancement, and you think it's Krishna's desire. Not just junior devotees, but everybody has to take shelter of somebody more senior. I direct all my disciples shall behave and conduct themselves in the following manner, in this way. Number 1, always accept His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada as founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, as the preeminent Shiksha Guru for all time. Prabhupada is the Shiksha Guru for all time. There's no time the Prabhupada will not be Shiksha Guru. Number 2, accept ISKCON, GBC Governing Body Commission as the ultimate management authority of this account and Prabhupada's representative, and therefore follow instructions and directions. Sometimes not so easy, but we have to ultimately accept this is Prabhupada's desire. This is the thing. We have to, sometimes we think, oh my God, but it is Prabhupada's desire to have this, and we have to somehow, because I was thinking the other day, I was chanting, and I was thinking, my chanting is okay, it's good, but the preserving the mission of Prabhupada, preserving the movement of Prabhupada is also part of chanting. This is not different. This is also a service to Srila Prabhupada. Preserving the philosophy, preserving the mood of Srila Prabhupada is also part of chanting, also part of the philosophy. So, third, lead your life to be an exemplary representative of ISKCON. Cooperate together with all other ISKCON devotees to push movement forward. 5. When some of you advance enough to become gurus, work under the GBC authorized process. So even if you become a guru, doesn't mean now finally I can spread my wings a little bit, Yes, we are still a servant. The point is that even when you become a guru, you are still a servant. You're not now come to the top of the world, you take sannyas and wow, I can, any wishes, whatever I desire to have, now I can fulfill, we are still servants, we are still servants. When you're spiritual master, you're also servant first. I was listening just this lecture, Bhakti Vikaswami, your eternal master, about the Guru Tattva. And he says the number one duty of a Guru is to be a servant of his Guru. This is the number one. Then you are a Guru. Number two. But first you are a servant of your Guru. And therefore you see your disciples as the representatives of your Guru. So therefore it's a service to Guru. You're not a master. You're a master for them, but for you are a servant. Number 6, never leave ISKCON. Haribo. This is a point to discuss. First and foremost, think of yourself as member of ISKCON. Never fight with this one. Resolve your differences internally. Meaning, don't go on internet and, whoa, I was there, I was this and that. This is horrible. When you see, I was recently looking something, I'm preparing for the Bhakti program, and then I typed something and it came out, this horrible websites. And I was thinking, man, this is such a disservice to Prabhupada to speak like this, Of course, we should not be also sheep, we are not a blind, deaf sheep who just walk around and they tell us do this, We are not. We have our own thinking capacity. But at the same time, we should not go around and be like, oh, yeah, here's in 1967, he said this. And, this is so horrible, ugly. 7, never align yourself with any persons or groups not authorized by the GBC, meaning don't go around to other groups. 8, seriously study Srila Prabhupada's books and on regular basis, and always chant at least 16 attentive rounds every day. Now, this is for the disciples. Chant at least 24 rounds on Ekadashi, Haribol, a special festival, and strictly follow the 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. 9, work to make ISKCON a dynamic society. This is also, you can discuss all kinds of topics can come out, but to be dynamic, because Prabhupada wanted movement to be dynamic, not to be, empty. We have so many empty temples. You go among these huge temples, there's like 3 people Mangalarti. And it's like, what is this emptiness? It should be dynamic. It should be people flowing, coming in, education. So number 10, this is for the people who live outside. Continue donating your time and resources to ISKCON, because Maharaj has collected millions and millions and millions. So continue donating your time and resources. If you are not practicing, if you're not active, continue donating, because this is your service to Krishna. Donating time and resources to ISKCON. In conclusion, I wish to state that all my endeavors as a devotee have been to serve Prabhupada and the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. All my endeavor, what I did for the last 50 years, was to serve Prabhupada. So this is Samadhi, Samadhinam, serving Prabhupada. I have nothing on my own, and so on and so forth. Thank you for your service and love. Serving Srila Prabhupada has been my privilege. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. So I hope that, at the time when I die, I'll be able to say something. Anyways, thank you. It's almost 9 o'clock. I didn't want to drag so long, but Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki Jaya. Anybody like to say something before we conclude and go to eat this wonderful prasadam?
Very inspiring.
It is very inspiring. I was so inspired. Inspiracja. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki Jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.